What if the only thing standing between you and the life you were meant to live is how you carry yourself? What if winning wasn't about luck, talent, or timing, but about alignment? Not pretending, not posturing, but deciding, once and for all, to act like you were meant to win. Not just hoping, but moving like it's already yours. Not questioning your place at the table, but pulling up a chair like you built it. Because here's the truth. The world responds to energy before it responds to words. You can have the skills, the vision, the plan, but if you walk like a question mark, you'll never be seen as an exclamation point. If you wait for the world to crown you before you show up like royalty, you'll wait forever. Winners don't ask for permission. They walk in with purpose. They carry the weight of belief like armor, and they don't flinch. The first step in acting like you were meant to win is to embody belief. Deep, unshakable belief in yourself, even when the evidence isn't there yet. Especially when it's not. Because anyone can be confident after the victory. But champions act like winners long before the scoreboard says so. It's a mindset, a posture, a decision that says, even if I haven't arrived, I'm still on the path. Even if you can't see it yet, I know what I'm building. Think about how differently you'd move through life if you believed, really believed, that everything was working in your favor, that every delay, every detour, every closed door was not a rejection, but redirection, that your vision wasn't random, it was planted, that your ideas, your instincts, your fire weren't mistakes, they were clues. How much more boldly would you speak? How much more consistently would you show up? How much more courageously would you take action? Too many people are waiting to feel worthy before they move. But it works the other way around. Worthiness is built in the doing. It's forged in the fire of action. When you act like a winner, even when you feel like a mess, you send a message to your subconscious, I am becoming. And that message changes everything. Your brain stops looking for reasons to doubt and starts building evidence to believe. The second step in acting like you were meant to win is resilience. Winners don't crumble when it gets hard. They expect hard. They don't see resistance as a sign to quit. They see it as confirmation that they're on the right path. Because no meaningful pursuit comes without opposition. No breakthrough comes without a breaking point. But the difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't that one had an easier road. It's that one kept going. And going doesn't mean rushing. It means showing up. On the days you're tired, on the days you're doubting, on the days it feels like nothing's working. Winners don't need to be motivated. They've trained themselves to be disciplined. They move with intention, even when there's no applause. They don't chase quick results. They build long-term foundations. Because they're not in it for the moment. They're in it for the legacy. When you're acting like you're meant to win, failure doesn't define you. It refines you. Every setback becomes data. Every fall becomes fuel. You stop taking things personally and start taking them seriously. You stop seeing problems as blocks and start seeing them as building materials. Because you know, deep down, that pain is not the enemy. Discomfort is not the enemy. Quitting is. That's the only way to lose, to stop before you're done. And maybe no one claps for you. Maybe no one believes yet. Maybe your journey feels invisible. That's okay. You're not doing it for the crowd. You're doing it for the person you're becoming. You're doing it for the moment when you look in the mirror and realize, I didn't fold, I didn't break, I didn't give up on me. And the third step in acting like you were meant to win is alignment. Winners move with integrity. They don't pretend. They don't wear masks. They live in truth. Because when your actions align with your values, your voice becomes unshakable. When your habits align with your vision, your future becomes inevitable. And when your mindset aligns with your mission, you move through the world like it's already done. Too many people sabotage themselves by living out of sync. They say they want clarity, but stay in chaos. They say they want greatness, but settle for comfort. They say they want more, but think small. Acting like you're meant to win means stepping into congruence. It means cutting off the things that dilute you, the distractions, the drama, the double life. It means walking in truth, even when it's uncomfortable. Especially when it's uncomfortable. Because alignment creates magnetism. When you're living in truth, you don't need to chase. You attract. You draw in the right opportunities, the right people, the right doors. Not because you're lucky, but because you're ready. Because you've done the inner work. Because you've built the character to carry the blessing. That's what real winning looks like. It's not just about results. It's about readiness. It's about becoming the kind of person who doesn't need the win to feel worthy, but gets the win because they were already acting like it. So here's the question. What would change today if you started carrying yourself like someone who was meant to win? How would you walk into that room? How would you speak? What would you stop tolerating? What would you start pursuing? This isn't about ego. It's about energy. It's about the quiet, unshakable decision to stop playing small, to stop waiting, to stop doubting, and to start becoming. Becoming the version of you that's been buried under excuses, under fear, under fatigue. The version of you who doesn't just survive, but thrives, who doesn't just dream, but does. And yes, it will be hard. You will be tested, but that's the point. Diamonds are only formed under pressure. Legends are only born in the fire. And you were not built for mediocrity. You were not built for the sidelines. You were built to rise, to fight, to win. But it starts with a choice, a decision to act, not someday, but now, because the clock is ticking. And every moment you spend shrinking is a moment you'll never get back. Every day you wait to feel ready is a day you delay your destiny. So stand up, square your shoulders, take a breath, and move like it's already done. Speak like it's already yours. Walk like you've already won. Not because the world believes it, but because you do. And that belief, that unshakable, undeniable, unapologetic belief, that's what changes everything. That's what builds empires. That's what leaves legacies. That's what turns a life into a masterpiece. Act like you were meant to win. Then let's keep going. Because acting like you were meant to win isn't just a slogan, it's a shift. A full body, full soul transformation that rewires the way you think, speak, and show up in every corner of your life. It's the fire that replaces fear. It's the discipline that replaces distraction. It's the reason you stop saying maybe one day and start saying day one. Let's talk about what happens when you stop hoping to win and start preparing to. When you shift from being a dreamer to being a doer, because there is a massive difference between wanting it and being ready for it. Anyone can want to win, but not everyone is ready for the responsibilities, the sacrifices, the solitude, the standards that winning demands. That's what separates those who fantasize from those who actualize. Preparation isn't glamorous. It's often invisible. It's doing the work when no one's watching. It's the early mornings, the late nights, the routines you keep, the habits you build, the hard decisions you make when you'd rather just rest. It's saying no to things that look good so you can say yes to what's great. It's betting on long-term over instant gratification. And above all, it's staying loyal to the vision, even when your current results mock it. You see, people think confidence comes from achievement, but real confidence comes from preparation. When you know you've done the work, when you've shown up, stayed consistent, kept promises to yourself, you walk different. You speak with conviction, not because you're pretending to be something you're not, but because you've earned the right to be there. Winners aren't shocked when the moment comes. They're ready, because they didn't stumble upon success. They built toward it, quietly, patiently, intentionally. They weren't waiting to be chosen. They were preparing for when it was time to choose themselves. Now, let's talk about environment, because no matter how strong your mindset is, if your environment is suffocating your belief, it's time to make changes. You can't keep planting seeds in toxic soil and expect them to grow. You can't expect to soar if you're surrounded by people who only know how to crawl. When you act like you're meant to win, you start making decisions that protect your peace, your progress, your potential. You become selective with your time, ruthless with your energy, and intentional with your company. Not because you think you're better, but because you know you're becoming better. And not everyone can go with you. There are people who will drain your drive without saying a word. Just their presence, their pessimism, their passive criticism, it poisons your progress. And you don't owe them a seat at your table just because they knew you before you built it. Winners don't ask for approval. They move in alignment. And sometimes that means walking alone until you find your tribe. And when you do, Everything changes. Because the right environment isn't just about people who cheer for you. It's about people who challenge you. People who call you out when you're playing small. People who reflect back your greatness when you forget it. People who remind you that you weren't made to blend in, you were made to break through. So ask yourself, who gets access to you right now? Who gets to speak into your life? Who are you becoming around the people you spend most of your time with? Because you are not just a product of your goals. You're a product of your environment. And if the space around you is not nurturing your growth, it's limiting your future. Let's go deeper now. Let's talk about identity. Because you can't act like you were meant to win if deep down you don't believe that's who you are. You can't outperform your self-image. You can't rise higher than your identity allows. That's why so many people stay stuck, not because they lack skills, but because they're carrying outdated versions of themselves into new seasons. Winning starts with the story you tell yourself about yourself. Are you still telling yourself you're broken, that you're unlucky, that you're too late, too inexperienced, too different? Those aren't facts, they're scripts, and it's time to rewrite them. You have to become the version of you that your next level requires. That means shedding the guilt, the fear, the doubt, the false humility that keeps you quiet. It means stepping into the authority of who you really are, not who the world conditioned you to be. It means looking in the mirror and seeing someone who is not just capable, but chosen. You were not randomly placed on this earth. You were assigned. And when you understand that your life has divine value, you stop entertaining mediocrity. You stop playing small to keep others comfortable. You stop asking, why me, and start declaring, why not me? You want to fix your life in a day? Start with how you see yourself. Start acting like the future version of you already lives here. Ask, what would the best version of me do today? And then do it. Not next week. Not when you feel motivated. Now. That's what acting like you're meant to win looks like. It's not waiting for change. It's being the change. Let me tell you this. People will doubt you. They'll underestimate you. They'll talk behind your back and laugh in your face. Let them. Because you're not here to prove them wrong. You're here to prove yourself right. And the best revenge is not loud. It's level up. It's silence. It's execution. It's walking into rooms they never thought you'd enter and owning them like you were born there. And when you hit a wall, and you will, remember this. Winners don't avoid adversity. They turn it into advantage. Every hardship is a classroom. Every failure is feedback. Every rejection is redirection. And every delay is still moving you forward if you learn how to walk through the dark with your eyes on the vision. So how do you build that kind of resilience? You get clear on your why, not a shallow why, a soul-level why, a why that punches you in the chest when you think about quitting, a why that reminds you that you're not just doing this for you. You're doing this for the version of you who never thought they'd make it this far. You're doing this for the people who are watching silently, hoping you'll show them what's possible. You're doing this for legacy, for impact, for freedom. And yes, it's going to cost you. Growth will cost you your comfort zone. Success will cost you your excuses. Confidence will cost you your approval addiction. But what you gain yourself, your peace, your voice, your future. And that's a trade worth making. So let me leave you with this. You are powerful. You are needed. You are enough. Not someday, not when it all comes together. Now. The world doesn't need a watered-down version of you. It needs the real you, the bold you, the healed you, the focused, driven, relentless you, the version of you that acts like you were meant to win, because you are. So from this day forward, walk like the victory is already written, speak like the doors are already open, build like the foundation is already set, believe like the outcome is already yours, because it is. And when the world tries to tell you otherwise, when life throws you into storms that try to shake your faith, you anchor yourself in that belief. Because acting like you were meant to win doesn't mean you won't face resistance. It means you've already decided that no resistance is greater than your purpose. It means you hold steady when everything in you wants to run. It means you lean into the chaos and say, I've been prepared for this. Understand something. The greatest transformations often happen in silence. No announcement, no spotlight, just you, your grit, your commitment, and an unshakable vision. You might be in a chapter where no one sees your progress, where your growth is underground like a seed that hasn't yet broken the surface. But don't mistake quiet seasons for dead ones. Sometimes the deepest roots grow when everything above looks still. The ones who rise are the ones who refuse to quit just because the results aren't instant. They trust the process more than they trust their emotions. They stop measuring their worth by how fast they win and start focusing on how long they're willing to stay in the game. Because real power is consistency. Real strength is showing up, especially when motivation is gone, especially when no one's clapping, especially when doubt whispers that you're wasting your time. Let me say this. You're not wasting your time. Not a single second spent building yourself is wasted. Not one moment in solitude, in prayer, in journaling, in learning, in failing, in repeating, in getting back up. None of it is wasted. That is the work that winners are made of. That is where foundations are laid. That's where character is built. Because success without character is a house without walls. It crumbles at the first gust of pressure. So don't just focus on the result. Focus on who you're becoming in the process. Because the journey will shape you in ways that success alone never could. The journey is where you learn your voice. The journey is where you learn how to lead yourself. The journey is where you separate desire from desperation, ambition from ego, discipline from burnout. And if you can endure the journey, the destination becomes inevitable. And here's the thing. Winners don't always feel like winners. Sometimes they feel like imposters, like they're in over their head, like they've bitten off more than they can chew. But they don't run. They rise. They don't wait until they're fearless. They move scared. They don't need the stars to align perfectly. They align their mindset and trust the rest will catch up. It's not about being fearless. It's about being faithful. Faithful to your purpose. Faithful to your habits. Faithful to your decisions. When you say you're going to do something, do it. Not because it's easy, not because it's convenient, but because you're building something sacred. Trust in yourself. Self-trust is the fuel of champions. When you trust yourself, you don't negotiate with laziness. You don't let insecurity dictate your moves. You don't shrink for anyone. You expand, even when it's uncomfortable. You hold the vision. You protect it. You nurture it like a flame in a windstorm, knowing that one day it will ignite everything around you. And as you rise, you will trigger people who haven't dared to rise themselves. Don't shrink. Don't apologize. Don't explain yourself to people who've made comfort their home and bitterness their defense. Let them misunderstand you. Let them talk. You're not here to be understood. You're here to be undeniable. You're here to build, to lead, to live so fully that regret never finds a home in your story. You're here to walk in power, not in permission. You're here to be the one who changed the narrative, who broke the cycle, who looked at generational limitation and said, "It ends with me." And when people ask how you did it, when they wonder how you came out of nowhere and built something no one thought you could, you'll smile. Not because you owe them an explanation, but because you'll know the truth. You didn't come out of nowhere. You came from the trenches. You came from the hard nights, the silent work, the relentless belief that this life was never meant to be average. You'll know that you won because you acted like it before anyone else believed it. You showed up when it was uncomfortable. You kept going when it was thankless. You created momentum from nothing. And you did it not because you were special, but because you were committed. Let's be real. Not everyone is willing to do what you're doing. Most will settle. Most will wait for a sign. Most will talk about it and never move. But you're not most people. You made a decision. And decisions shape destiny. So if you're waiting for a better moment, this is it. If you're waiting for the perfect plan, it doesn't exist. If you're waiting for motivation, it's overrated. What matters is movement. What matters is intention. What matters is the decision to act like you were meant to win today, not tomorrow. That means speaking differently. No more "I hope." No more "maybe one day." Speak with finality. I am. I will. It's done. That means moving differently. No more asking for permission. No more tiptoeing around your goals. Walk boldly. Own your presence. Take up space. And that means thinking differently. Every thought that says you're not enough, challenge it, replace it, rewire it. You have the power to change your inner dialogue, and when you do, your entire reality shifts. Here's your call to action. Audit your life. Every habit, every relationship, every decision. Ask, is this helping me win? If the answer is no, it's time to change it. Time to rewire. Time to remove. Time to rebuild. Clean your environment. Protect your peace. Level up your standards. Speak life into your future. And every single day, show up like someone who was chosen, because you were. And if no one has told you lately, let me be the one to say it. You have what it takes. Not someday. Now. It's in you. It always has been. The fire, the genius, the power. It's been buried under doubt and fear and noise. But today, you pull it out. You reclaim it. You wear it like armor. And you walk into this world not asking for a chance, but making one. So get up, get ready, get focused. This is your time, your moment, your move. Act like you were meant to win, because you are.